Where is it coming from?
Oh, wait! I see me $1,000 come down on y'all. I don't know where it came from.
Now.
Where did you put? Where that
This
come
is
from?
the worst joke.
Oh my God!
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And that's why no one will ever find your all's bodies.
Well,
I didn't expect you to just say it's because they don't want to.
Right, that's
yeah, for those of you that didn't hear at the beginning, it's because nobody's going to look. You know, best reason of all.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to leave this podcast all over the place and be like, these guys are fucking dicks.
Nobody cares. Oh, God, I don't blame them.
Disappear like the Blair Witch people.
Yeah. Hunter and Spencer disappeared? When? 12 years ago.
I noticed on the podcast,
Shit.
it's just Casey talking. Yeah.
I just voice clip you guys in like the episode of Southpark where they did Chef. What was it? They made Chef like.
Oh man, that was so fucking funny.
I want to make love to your butthole, Kyle.
Yeah. I want to make love to your butthole, children. It was from the. Was it Barry White that did his voice?
No, not Barry White. It was
Kyle.
Isaac.
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Motherfucking Superfly or whatever. He quit the show because of Scientology.
Yeah, they made fun of.
And so they did this raging Scientology episode. I mean, it's
Wait, Chef?
so
I
funny.
thought he died.
No.
No.
Well, in the friggin' cartoon, he died.
But I thought the actor died.
He might have, but he left the show because of Scientology.
Can we start there with the episode? What happened?
Dude, you just got to go back and watch it. There's a lot of videos and stuff talking about it. But
Holy shit, he did die August 10th, 2008.
Yeah.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah,
was the
they
voice
kicked him.
of Chef.
He left the show and like talked a bunch of shit about the two creators.
He refused to do any more episodes, so he refused to record any future dialogue. But they kept going because they owned the character, but he owned all of his voice performances. No, I'm sorry, they owned everything.
Yeah.
He just said, "I'm not going to do any more." So they kept it going, and they just cut up voice
Stuff that he had said.
Stuff that he had said, and it was, but they did it so insultingly. It was really funny. So they did this whole episode about Scientology where they just shit on it so bad, and it's one of the funniest things ever. And then they kill Chef in the middle of the episode,
and they make him shit all over himself.
Dude,
Do we know why Scientology made him quit? Like what?
No, he quit because they made fun of Scientology.
Oh,
So-
because the way you get labeled as a
yeah, it's got to be the greatest South Park episode. Maybe
I don't know.
tied with the Michael Jackson episode.
No,
That one's just
school. The last season they did a school shooting episode. It's pretty fucking good.
pretty crazy stuff.
And they're trying to get canceled. Like in their credits, they have a hashtag in the background that says "cancel South Park," and so they're doing everything in their power to make Comedy Central cancel it, and they won't do it.
It's because it's too powerful. That's them throwing their dick right up on the table.
Well, speaking of that,
Randy Wetzel?
Go ahead and bring up something else I wanted to talk about. Speaking of things that are too powerful, did you hear what Google did during the fucking debates? And here's what they did.
I can't wait to see what my phone says I want to look at now.
So pull your phones out. Hey, Google, go fuck yourself. Listen to this. So easily the largest company in the world,
Yeah.
undisputable, Google.
The kings of Silicon Valley.
Totally, yeah. Basically not just that, but the methodology of everything in Silicon Valley, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And right after the first round of presidential debates, the
2016 or
recently,
okay.
like cycle one,
Yeah.
the first time you get to see Tulsi Gabbard on stage, man, and she was the most, because of the things she says, because of how striking she is, and how she's obviously the only one of them that's not just, maybe not the only one, but she's the one that matters. It's so clear if you just watch all of them. But they had her on, and she was saying a lot of stuff, real controversial stuff about the military-industrial complex, and stuff that scares the status quo. And Google suspended her campaign account because she was the most searched name out of all the candidates after the first debate. After people saw her talk, they searched her name more than anyone else. And to prevent people from learning about her, Google suspended her campaign account. So all the ads weren't up. Like if they Google, they wouldn't find stuff like. And it was. They literally changed the access to the information that people have. And she's suing them now for $50 million, and she's made it very public. If that's where most people go to get their information, but those people are tampering with the information, that's exactly what they got mad at Russia for doing with our elections. People thought the Russians are tampering with our elections, but it's okay if Google does it. Fuck that. And I'm here to tell you, fuck you, Google.
I do find it interesting.
How did you find out about this?
It's public.
It's public.
It's everywhere. This is a public record now. She's got a public $50 million lawsuit against Google. And you know, I was telling somebody about this, and they go, man, to Google, $50 million is nothing. They'll pay it and let it go. But it's the principle of the thing, the principle of tampering with information.
I mean, they'll pay it and let it go, act like it's no big deal. She'll take that $50 million and fucking put it into her campaign.
Yep. That's where it's and Google is already famous for selling your information. Already famous for harvesting information, not just through their search engine, but also through Facebook, through YouTube, through all the services that they own.
Did you hear how much Facebook had to pay for that privacy breach?
No.
$5 billion Facebook got fined for all those privacy breaches.
And that's my point, man. If I just think
That's so funny because I'm interrupting, sorry, but I Googled Tulsi Gabbard and I'm getting all kinds of
Now you are.
stuff on her. Yeah, but I'm
What does
seeing
it turn
nothing.
up?
I'm seeing nothing about.
the Google lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why would I? I'm using their site. I think that's funny since
I mean,
they're
and I
like the
use them-
go-to.
Use
I use
Bing,
it
it'll be
too.
the first result.
I use Google as a search engine too. I mean, I use Gmail. Like, there's no getting away from it. If you want to have, like, on our account where we share files, we use Gmail and
Yeah.
Google Drive, and like, I get that, but just know that Google is not Google's not concerned with your privacy, and Google is definitely influenced about what they show you and what they don't show you. And I think that's terrible, man. But she totally called them out for it and got traction. And you're talking about like a female combat veteran congresswoman. This isn't just some person suing Google. Like, this is somebody that's, like, she works at the Capitol. And I think if they start screwing with those kind of people, man, they're going to get in a lot of trouble.
I think they're already getting in a lot of trouble. I think with this Facebook fine, the government's looking more at the internet as a problem.
But like how they sway information and like nobody can get a clear thing. Yeah, dude, it's real tricky like that. But I will say this, in spite of all that stuff and how badly they don't want you to hear anything she says, she made a couple waves, I think, last night.
New York Times is the first search result on Bing about the lawsuit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So if you use Bing, first thing comes up is Tulsi suing Google.
Yeah.
But if you go on Google, you don't hear about it.
No. It was all like, because it's not the most recent thing anymore, a lot of Twitter
Right.
things and interviews. Then I looked up the Sue's Google. That's my bad.
I got
I mean, they did that to Ron Paul, basically.
Yeah.
All the news outlets did. When Ron Paul was running, they were like, I mean, Jon Stewart, I've told this story before, Jon Stewart did a whole bit on
it
the
was
Daily
amazing.
Show because they were like, number one is this person, and number 3 and 4 are these two people. And he was like, who's number 2? And it's because that no one wanted to talk about Ron Paul.
Like,
It's not just Google, though.
Yeah.
The claws are in everywhere. I don't remember what the book was, but when I'm in politics and current affairs at work,
Right.
I'll find something that looks juicy and like flip through it for 30 seconds.
Right.
And I opened one up. I wish I could remember what it was now, but I opened one up and it was talking about the Monica Lewinsky thing back in the day, which is pre-internet, mind you. And there was some interview that was done with a big news station about all that stuff going on with Clinton, and this was during the impeachment process, and that was done in like mid-January of whatever year, and the interview didn't post until like the week after the impeachment was rendered null and he was allowed to stay in office a month and a half later.
Yeah, and apparently somebody has noticed that people were playing dirty because now, as of August 1st, and I don't know when you guys are going to hear this episode coming out, but like right now at the beginning of August, right after the debates, ABC News and the New York Times both report that the most searched for candidate in all 50 states during the second round of debates was Tulsi. And now they're saying it on ABC News. They're saying it on the New York Post. So literally, people heard what she had to say and they went crazy. But the reason I'm talking about this stuff is like, we've talked about her kind of from the beginning as being somebody that we thought wasn't a crook. She's the first female combat veteran ever to run for president. And I am definitely trying to influence listeners to at least go look at her. If you don't like her, don't vote for her. But at least take a look at this lady. And the reason I say it is because they're going to try to stop you from seeing her.
Yeah, ladies, if you want a woman in charge, this is definitely your person.
100%. I mean, this is like really like this is like Superwoman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Fucking, she really is. Like, there was one part during the debates where she was talking about war, and they kept going, well, what do you think about these tertiary issues? She's like, I want to talk about war. Like, I want to talk. She goes, today, 2 of our servicemen died in Afghanistan. Today. And she almost like teared up. And she was like,
because she's been there.
She's
done
been
that.
there, and her cousin is currently there, and she currently serves as a major in the armed forces while being a congresswoman. She's like, I know the high cost of war, and I will get those people out of Afghanistan in the first year I'm in office. No joke about it. I mean, this is somebody that's been boots on the ground.
But that's why you should look her up too, because that in its own right can be scary for I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true what it does to infrastructure for the country because of the amount of money that comes in and out with that stuff now. But she's got plans for reallocating and dissolving things that are not needed or are overfunded so that nothing essential is crippled on a social level here. But the things that are hurting can be funded without taxing the shit out of everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's money, but ugh.
The problem is, from what I can gather, is the Democratic debates are making most of the Democrats look like insane people. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong on that?
Well, I didn't watch them because I didn't know they were on. I always watch that stuff. But when I heard the amount of people that jumped in...
they had to have two.
Yeah, I would say
two
that you're
different
not
nights
wrong.
because there's so many people.
It's literally, I called this from day one, especially because it's how Trump won in the first place. It's what the Republicans did to themselves last time. And I guess, granted, you can say that they won, so I don't know. The point I was making is Trump is not a Republican and never has been, but he saw that they were just eating each other alive. And because he only kind of agrees with half of what they say, he can run that way, talk, and then it lit a fire. And that's...
One of the big things that's getting a lot of traction today is there's another one of the candidates is Kamala Harris from California, who has jailed like so many people for marijuana use and all kinds of stuff. And Tulsi absolutely roasted her during the debate. I mean, she actually went. This is one of the first times you see Gabbard actually like go after somebody. And Newsweek says, now the Newsweek headline, and I quote, Tulsi Gabbard praised for her pummeling of Harris about her prosecutor's record. And you can watch the video of it, but man, she shredded her. She said, I want to bring it back to the issue about criminalization and all the people that are being arrested for marijuana, which is not harmful. And she said, Miss Harris, like, kept people in jail past their term so that they could be cheap labor for the state of California. And then also, like, when she was asked if she had ever smoked marijuana, laughed about it after all the people that she had imprisoned for like writing these fines. Gabbard just shredded her, and it made big headlines everywhere. Man,
apparently, Miss Harris withheld evidence that would free a guy on death row.
Really?
Is that? Am I mistaken on that one?
Fact check that. I don't know that to be true, but
fact check everything we're saying. With
Kamala Harris,
three dumb dudes in Knoxville.
Kamala Harris has a terrible prosecutor's record that just reeks of corruption, and Gabbard fucking lit her up about it, and people started cheering and clapping. I mean, you could tell when somebody's just like being like justified and righteous. But I watched it over and over again, and it was really, really inspiring.
I keep forgetting that stuff is on YouTube. I need to go watch it.
Well, and right here for me, this is all it takes. If you look at this one BuzzFeed article right here, it says, and I quote, Tulsi Gabbard is this election's Ron Paul.
Yeah.
And
that's good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's bad for her because she's going to constantly try to get buried up. But it's wonderful.
She's also Bernie this time in regards to being like the in-party outsider. And we all know what happened to Bernie in the last one, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I would look for the powers to be to try to, like, marginalize her. But, man, check her out while you get a chance. That's all I'm saying, man. You don't have to buy everything we say. And again, I don't know, man. When she talks about, I don't know. We go back and forth about, should we talk about politics? Should we not talk about politics?
Oh, it's too late now.
Is it? Yeah, I know it is. And I felt like it just, at some point, we lay off of it a lot. But, man, like, here's why I think it matters. Like, some guys died.
Yeah.
So you went to get coffee, and a couple people were arguing. Like, you probably wouldn't jump in and say anything. You'd probably just be like, okay, well, that's weird. And they start arguing. But imagine if, like, one of them pulled out a gun and shot the other one, like, right in front of you. And now there was a death. You probably would call the police. Mm-hmm. At some point, you'd probably go, whoa. Something's... But that's kind of the whole point. People are dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to get up on a hill about it, but that's why when you look at, man, I know some people that are just like, they won't even look at her like peace platform about bringing the troops home and not getting involved in these stupid wars. And there are certain people that I know that won't even, every time I share one of her videos or something, and it's about peace, it's about anti-war, something like that, and people just go, oh, she's a socialist. And I'm like, I don't get that.
She's not a socialist.
I don't think she is a socialist. I mean, she's running on the Democratic side, and that means that but I think she's very centrist about a lot of her platforms. And here's the whole point is, I just think she's not a crook. And I think she really wants to save people and bring people home. And
also, socialism is an ideology, and you can't fight that. The whole, and that was McCarthyism and the communist scare and all that stuff. But if this country is going to, get its head out of its ass and actually really stand up for what it believes in, then you can fight that war from your high horse by voting. If a ideology you don't like comes in, like socialism or something, then just vote it out later.
100%.
Because from my understanding, she's probably the only one doing the Democratic debates that is willing to reach across the aisle and shake hands with Republicans and work with them as long as it's for the better of the people.
Like I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to the other ones. I could see Andrew Yang kind of being like that because
is he the other guy that was on Rogan?
He's the Asian guy.
Everybody wants Yang, but I don't know how he's gonna he keeps talking about universal income, getting everyone $1,000
he's the universal
a month,
basic income guy.
But I don't know how he's gonna pay for it without taxing people. Like, here's my problem with that is, I go to work and I get taxes taken out of my paycheck, and I live paycheck to paycheck. If you start taking more taxes out of my paycheck and they don't give me a raise or what have you,
can't afford rent anymore.
I can't afford rent anymore, and then I have to sign up for universal income, and it's like, but why? I don't know. I just don't know how. I don't know how it pays for itself.
That's why I don't go real far on the democratic socialism side of things. That's why I appreciated his how I appreciate Bernie for being sort of like the lone wolf and like the rogue, and he was anti-corruption too, which I like that. And Tulsi was a supporter of him, so I get it. But Bernie's whole thing about just give everybody free shit. Well, that's the thing is you have to take it from somebody. That comes from somewhere. You have to take all the people, like the taxpayers, like Casey was just saying. See, the difference is
someone's going to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Basically what big government says is, and this is why I'm a little government guy.
Yeah.
Big government says, give us all your money. We'll give you some of it back when you need it, and we'll make sure that all the rest that we keep goes for things you would want it to go for. But it doesn't. They just use it to start more wars, and more people die, and you don't get better roads, you don't get better health care, you don't get better Social Security, you don't get all this stuff that they promised you. I just think that's the government is a bad place to put your money if you want to trust somebody to do the right thing for you or whoever. That said, and a lot of people think that's kind of what makes me a libertarian. I just don't trust the fucking government.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is too, a lot of people think libertarians just want it to be like the Road Warrior. They think we want it to just be this anarchy of where like everybody's just running around with guns and like it's like the Wild West again. Well, I don't think that, and I know that we still need programs like disability, Medicare, Social Security. There needs to be some kind of access to healthcare, whether it's government socialized healthcare or from everything I've seen, it just doesn't work. It's just not going to work. But some kind of access to healthcare, and Gabbard said that in the debates. She said, "We don't have a healthcare system in this country. We have a sick care. Very little money is put toward preventative medicine. It's put towards treating people that are already sick, not getting them better. Not teaching them to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Whatever. So again, I'm not trying to get up on a platform, but it's time. Like people are saying heroic things, and she's talking about taking care of like you and your family." And your friends and your community and everybody that has freedom, and big tech companies are trying to like hide that message from people. So don't let them. That's my message. Don't let them hide Tulsi from you, man. She really is a badass, and she's a super sweet lady. I believe in her. That's it.
I have family members who do quite well because they worked for it. They worked to get where they are. And when they tell me how much they get taken out of their paychecks through taxes, it's mind-boggling to me. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. And
so to have the Republicans say they're going to do tax cuts and tax breaks, and then the Democrats saying they want to take more taxes to pay for the socialist ideas, I understand why people like different generations from me don't want Democrats winning. I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, and
because
the thing is like that's why that exact thing where one person goes, well, wait a second, we've busted our ass for this, and the thing is,
I've worked since I was 15 years old, kind of thing.
Like, yes. How many times did you go home tired? But again, I know some people, and again, like shout out to some of my really smart fucking friends, like Eric Cardwell, who is a Democrat, and like he's a card carrying Democrat, and we have friendly debates, and I love it. We have like a friendly discourse, you know what I'm saying? And we talk about it, and he listens to me, and I listen to him, and that's why I'm not just like completely anti Democratic platform anymore. Like I'm looking for somebody, but here's the thing. That's why you look at like, well, where's the money going to come from? You know, if you're going to should we let the people keep their money and trust that they're going to do the right thing? Well, the business class and the super, super rich can't necessarily be trusted any more than the government.
Yeah.
So if you just let all the rich people keep all the money, then, I mean, a lot of them I'm saying all of them, they're honest business owners, but a lot of those people got rich by screwing the little guy. So if you just let them keep all the money, that's why the Republicans can't solely be right. And then if you just go, well, you're right, let's just give everything to the government and let them dole out the lowest common denominator, toilet paper and peanut butter to us based on what will feed everybody. So we all just get like a tiny piece, and no matter how hard you work, you still get the same amount, even the guy that works much less than you or more than you, whatever. Well, that doesn't work either. But that's why people like Tulsi, who are talking about, I got an idea. Let's stop occupying 140 countries. Let's stop sending $70 billion a year into bombing countries that pose no threat to us. And we could handle those conflicts with diplomacy. Like, let's go talk to those people and their leaders and try to achieve, like, see what I mean? There's that doesn't cost anything, is to be diplomatic and lift these fucking tariffs that Trump put on, like, the trade, the big China mad at us. And everybody's, you know what I'm saying? Like that was just another way of taxing things. Trump made it like, I'm going to lower taxes, but then he put all these tariffs on stuff so you can't buy it, you can't trade from overseas. Well, that was a big part of keeping prices low. That's just another tax on the American people that people didn't know about. So he's just as fucking shady as Bernie is, wanting to raise taxes and give everybody free everything. Fucking Trump just did it overseas. Like see what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the same fucking thing. And but when I hear somebody saying, well, I got an idea. How about we end senseless wars and regime change? We'll save all the money we need then to give people fucking health care, benefits, whatever. Business people keep their money. We get all the shit paid for. And guess what? In the meantime, people aren't getting killed over it. Like, that makes sense to me. There's the answer. Like, who keeps the money? Guess what? We all keep the money. We just stop blowing up fucking countries so that we have this we control these regimes all over the world.
Well, that's what Ron Paul wanted to do. He said he wanted to bring the troops home and basically keep battleships on our coasts and just be like, you know, they still will have jobs. The military will still be protecting and defending.
There's still the fucking CIA. There's still going to be a guy hiding outside every like terrorist organization anywhere in the world, ready to like push the button that sends the fucking special forces in. You know, but it just, dude. There's just I don't know.
It's very interesting talking to these family members of mine about this because I have no, when I listen to them and how many taxes they pay, and I look at my pay stubs and see how much taxes I pay, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't pay shit.
But if
really.
it's a percent, it's fair compared. Like if you may make a lot less than some of them, but if you're both paying 5%, 5% is 5%. And for you, it may only be $20. For them, it might be $200. But if that means they have a lot more to split up than you do. And at some point it comes down to the minimum wage and the price of milk and all, you know, like.
And I also know that not everybody is as charitable as other people, but I've had these family members say that if they were able to get more money back and them take less taxes, they'd be more willing to be charitable. But when they see this much taxes being taken out and they have bills to pay, they got to dole out in their bills first and then take care of themselves and their families before they can think about donating to like Salvation Army or national
that's what I feel like. What do you?
That's exactly how I feel about it.
So much of this depends on the honor system. They go, let us keep the money. If you let us keep more of our money, we'll do charitable things. And there are times in history where that's shown. That the lower taxes are, the lower like minimum wages, the lower the cost of living is. People do tend to help more. They donate more. Churches go in and do charitable things. They feed the homeless.
Helping people on small and big levels, but every fucking penny that I make has to go to rent. So I can't donate $1 to something else.
Exactly. So at what point is there a thing? But then also the same thing that gives like decent, good, hardworking people a few extra bucks in their paycheck also gives the business owner a giant tax break. And if that guy happens to be a scumbag, then that money could have probably been.
Well, the basic breakdown of like if you make more money, you'll spend more money is also true. My hold at work is stacking up with shit that would not actually cost that much, but because I can't afford to buy any of it, and half of it's books. Like some of it's Godzilla figures, and those are like $30, and it's stupid to spend money on that. But
buy whatever, it's your money,
right? But some of it's like books, like $7 or $8, and I can't justify that to myself in a month. And I know Libby would get it for me, but I don't want to. I don't want to go to my wife and be like, "Can you get me this new toy? Can you get me all the time either?" So,
and I don't support socialism because I don't think it's right for somebody to come in the night with a gun to take something that you have.
Right.
Which again,
but if I had that money, that shit would not be sitting there the way that it does for months on end, and that would be more money going into the economy because I'd have it to spend.
But the problem with the universal income and socialism and talking like you're an honorable person and would do right with it, but a lot of people would just quit their jobs and live off the universal income, while the rest of the people who don't feel like being that shitty and they're like, well, I'll still work, are getting more taxes taken out of their paycheck. So it's like, I can definitely see why the socialism aspect is fucking nightmarish.
And there's still that's the thing. There still are socialized programs that are good, like disability and like healthcare. And so like I understand the difference between pure unbridled socialism and socialized programs.
Well, all the ways
I get that
universal basic income would be abused is what scares me off of it, just like you guys. But when Yang was talking about it on Rogan, I wound up liking the idea. And my big thing is, where is it coming from? Like Casey was saying, because if it's coming from somewhere I don't want it to, then I don't want that. And I appreciate what you said about the honor system just now, but that's where my head went immediately. I was like, if it was $1,000 a month, that would be rent at the apartment with a couple hundred left over every time.
You would have to
drop from 5, but I would want to. So I could drop from 5 days a week to 2 or 3, still have some extra money coming in, be able to constantly have something growing as a nest egg to like pay for vacations and things. And I would also be able to put more money into the band stuff and time and filming for Beacon House things, and actually have the time to write and draw the graphic novels that are haunting me because I don't.
Well, that's assuming one thing. That's assuming that your rent doesn't go up. That's assuming
that's fair, but
that's assuming
rent goes up every year.
Well, what I was going to say, if universal basic income happens, I would count on your rent to nearly double.
Yeah.
I would count on.
I mean, that's what happened with student loans and government grants. So that all has to be accounted for. This is all a pipe dream of if it stays like it is and we get the money.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of not working, but I would love the idea of being able to actually do something with my life that I want to.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, what you're going to actually get, if we want to talk about reality, the reality of all this is you're actually going to get something that's near the middle. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to be something that works for both. There's two completely different ideologies here. Like, we keep all the money or the government keeps all the money. Well, nobody's going to be happy with either one of those. So I know this sounds just like a massive fucking campaign for compromise, which isn't always a good thing. But like somebody like Tulsi, I think, is kind-hearted enough, honest enough, and pragmatic enough to get on the center of the aisle and bring the smartest people from both sides and go, all right, listen, let's figure out a way that, like, okay, taxes are going to go down. Business owners are going to get a huge thing where it encourages them to start new businesses and really like juice the economy. But at the same time, we're going to do better with socialized medicine, socialized like healthcare reform. Mm-hmm. We're going to do both of these things, and we're going to fund it by not being in 140 countries starting wars. I like that idea.
I'm not going to get on Twitter. Thanks, Tulsi.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
I love thinking about like what kind of crazy shit Casey would come up with if you had that extra money to spend on camera equipment and all the film ideas you guys don't know about that the three of us talk about.
That's the thing is, I'm as crazy as it sounds, I'm a minimalist. I don't want more shit. I would rather sell the shit I have now and buy something that does more things in one device than have several devices that do, like multiple different things.
Well, sure, but it would still free you up to do these creative things, is my point.
But I would feel fucking awful if I quit working or dropped my hours knowing that someone else, like, our parents have to work harder
to fund it, because they're the ones that worked 15 years, like since they've been 14 or 15 years old, working horrible jobs they didn't want to work, but finally got to a point where they can make ends meet and pay all these bills, but now they're getting taxed more. Yeah, no, that's where it
I feel
comes from.
gross about that.
Well, and somebody did say, they said, if you look like the idea behind the universal basic income, they say like it's going to, a lot of people are going to have their jobs replaced by machines. That is true. One thing that they're not telling you is that that's also going to create new jobs. For every machine that takes over a human like labor position, you're going to have somebody like driverless cars still have to have a guy in them. There's still going to be a guy paid to go with the car. He just doesn't have to like control it all the time. And you're going to have more people working on the machines that do the work for. It creates a whole new industry. And another thing too, man, is that just like by giving people free money with no recourse or anything like that, that doesn't give people a whole lot of incentive to improve.
Right.
Like
that's one of the biggest arguments.
That's historically proven is that a lot of people aren't going like you just mentioned. If I had a little bit extra money, I wouldn't have to work so much. I could really get involved in my art, with the podcast, with the band. You would actually use it for something good.
You would thrive.
But probably. I guarantee you, man, that there's at least 2 to every one of you that would just be
probably
like,
more.
Fuck yeah, sitting at home.
Funyuns, Netflix account, and
yeah. And I'm not shitting on that.
That's why it wouldn't work though,
because that's freedom. Freedom means do whatever you want. So again, it's hard to say that any of these things are right or wrong. And I know if anybody's still listening to this, thank you, thank you. But that's my whole point. Is you can't.
Usually when we get political, no one wants to listen because I have shitty opinions.
Well, I think
you've been pretty well spoken this time. I think.
What I'm kind of getting at, man, is nobody can say 100% that the right or the left is correct on any of this stuff. But there's a thing where most people can agree that war is wrong. So you've got one candidate that's saying, let's fund things by stopping war. And I tend to want to listen to that person.
Yeah.
You know?
And I enjoy somebody that goes, like, listening to Tulsi talk about working with Republicans makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because right now it seems so divided and so 2 different parties that with 2 completely different ideologies, to have someone go, we've got to be able to work together. We have to.
It's been that way for almost 20 years.
If we don't work together, nothing's going to get done. We're just going to fight, and we're going to split the population of the United States in half, and those people are going to fight each other. It's not good. It's not for the betterment of the people. So I want to reach across the aisles, shake hands with these Republicans. And I remember she talked about when she first got the job as Congresswoman and she went to Washington, D.C., she had her mom send like 800 pastries or like some Hawaiian dessert and gave them to Democrats and Republicans, all with the same message on it being like, I would love to talk to you and work with you. You know, there's no hard feelings. I don't want to be one of these people that is so far, left or so far right that I can't meet in the middle and shake your hand and discuss how to help how to help people.
I think she would be a unifying figure. Is one of the reasons I like her a lot. I think I think a lot of people could get behind her and respect her and feel good about it. Like I think kids and parents could. I think she's a very good positive role model, and that's one thing you can say about Trump is the guy's just such a piece of shit. Like he just, regardless of whether you think he's done anything good or not, or he's a smart businessman or whatever, he's so nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just so fucking like unprofessional, and he's not a good role model for just like the average citizen and kids. And
Tulsi feels like a JFK to me, kind of like that people just.
I think so too.
Disagree, but still like her. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I got, again, you see this lady on social media, and man, she's just like, I've never seen anybody so tireless. Like she does these campaigns. She gets up, she takes her whole staff out, and they all work out together. And like, so then they go and they do these debates and they go to town hall meetings. And if they have time, they go do charity work in the towns they travel to. Like when there were all the floods in the Midwest, like they were helping people clean their houses and their yards up. Community service type shit. Yeah. And then they go do more debates. And she's on the road and she's in planes and still finds the time to like go to the local, like meet up at like a restaurant and like talk to people and just be real human about everything and really spend a lot of time with everybody. And like I don't think anybody's ever been pissed off by her. Like that was in a crowd. She's never made anybody feel unimportant, Like, I don't know. It just takes a lot to be like that, to be that compassionate, relentlessly, tirelessly. And I think, I can't think of a better set of qualities to have in a president.
Yeah.
I really can't, I mean, again, maybe she could do some, we'll see what happens. She's probably not going to make it, but God, I hope she does. I hope whoever's listening to this will actually go check her out. Just watch a couple of videos. Make up your own mind. You don't have to love her. You don't have to feel the way I do. You don't have to hate other candidates. You can love Trump. I mean, whatever. Just, make up your own mind. I guess what I would say, don't let fucking Google make your mind up for you. Like, search a couple
That's how we got onto this. That's
Yeah,
right.
dude.
I've been trying to figure out how we accidentally made a political episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've said it
Google.
100 times on this podcast. I think Trump wouldn't be as in the news as much if he just didn't talk on Twitter at all. Like, if he got rid of his Twitter account and quit tweeting stuff,
Yeah.
people would, overnight, you would see 50% less people talking about him.
Like,
110%.
how is that guy still getting away with? Like, is there somebody somewhere in his cabinet that's saying things like, "Oh, dude, every time he gets on Twitter, like, somehow it's benefiting our numbers." So, like, yeah, let him just keep tweeting crazy shit from the bathroom or hateful stuff. Like, let him go on there and make an ass out of himself. It's getting us more attention. I mean, somewhere, these people, the way that they act in the public eye.
How are they going to stop him?
I guess
He was a public figure, but a private person before he became president. It's not the same as these other people that came up. I can't say other people, Obama, but he was a politician, so he kind of came up in that.
Sure.
Into the
Careful
Twitter
what you
sphere and
say. He's
everything,
been
and-
groomed for the office.
Yeah, and Twitter. I'm actually sorry, Twitter. Trump is famous for being. Well, again, all the documentaries and like looking back, I was struck by it when people got all up in arms about his behavior, which I get and support because he was running for president. You don't want that in a president. But as soon as that happened, I was like, this is the same stuff that everyone thought was funny and admired about him because he was a slimy businessman. And it was like, look at that slimy businessman. I'm going to eat some popcorn and get a Diet Coke and enjoy it because it's cool. It's cool because he's being that.
The problem is he talked to the people that everyone else in Washington didn't want to shake hands with. The coal miners in Kentucky, the flyover states. He said something that sparked something in their head.
Yeah.
That
sure.
inspired something in them, whether he's a nasty man or not. He said something to them and it was mainly just, you're going to get your jobs back or you're going to keep your jobs.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, again, that matters to
and
people,
man,
but
like, again,
He didn't, by the way. He didn't get their jobs back. But,
I'm not pro-Trump in it, but you gotta, man, like some of those people, the factory workers and the people in the Midwest, they call the flyover states. We've talked about this on here before. Like, they just marginalize like normal grassroots America so bad. This, like, so many people just think that those people are stupid and uneducated and racist and, white, the worst thing of all.
Yeah.
Like fucking, or whatever. Sorry, I'm just kidding. That was a joke, folks.
No, it's all right. We're all straight white men. No one cares what we think.
But like,
And I'm okay with
but
that.
the fact that they just want to go back to work, the fact that they just want jobs, like somewhere in there that you've got to have, I don't know, there's something a little respectable about that. That they're not, I mean, I don't know, dude, it's hard. Again, from where I sit, from the lies I've been spoon-fed by my phone or whatever, it looks like a lot of people on one side are just have their hand out to get free shit, and the people on the other side are just like trying to
we
get
don't
back.
want to pay for that free
We don't
shit.
want to pay for it. We'd rather get back to work. And I'm not saying one
decide where our money goes.
but
yeah.
it's hard to just go, yes, everybody on the right is an idiot, and if you like Trump, you're an idiot. Well, hang on a minute. There's somewhere in there's an ideology that's respectable. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he lied to him. He didn't get him the jobs. He went to West Virginia and acted like, I'm down with you guys. Like all these people in L.A. and New York.
There's still huge coal industries going bankrupt left and right, laying off thousands of people.
Yeah, he's been talking about running for president, joking for my entire childhood. I remember that every election cycle.
But he always wanted to run Democrat.
Right, until he saw the animals eating each other.
Well, and he did all this shit. I'm like, we're going to save business. We're going to make deals, and it's going to get good business. And then he did those fucking tariffs. So you can't like buy shit from overseas, and it just wrecked a lot of businesses. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, man. It's such a fucking, there's such a like a zeitgeist to the whole thing, and it's just, man, I don't know.
It's
hard.
a complex issue, and for the love of God, don't let the three of us tell you what to think. Let this be a
absolutely
springboard
not.
to go Bing or Yahoo search other things that you can.
Let Clint Eastwood tell you what to think, which is
Yeah, you don't
be
want
fiscally responsible and mind your own goddamn business, is what he said about politics.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was on Ellen one time, and she was like, you're libertarian. She was like, so, and she was like basically getting him to talk about like the fact that she was gay and all this other stuff, and like how like she was like, a lot of people think that just because you're libertarian, you're like super right. And he goes, look, libertarian's pretty simple. Be fiscally responsible with your money and mind your own business.
Or otherwise, like fiscally responsible, socially liberal. Like you don't tell people what to do, how to live, who to love, any of that kind of stuff. It just seems like it makes sense. And again, a lot of people don't have to be like that. And I understand some people are so heavily entrenched in like their community and their church and stuff that other lifestyles do seem threatening. And it maybe seems like the more popular, I don't know, man. Like I get it. I get it. How there's different walks of life.
What a time for someone to come along and ask you to be their neighbor, to just chill and talk about life.
I think that movie's going to be a big deal.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a big deal.
We can end the Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is Mr. Rogers.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Okay, so we can get off of politics. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, just, man, if we're leaving the politics argument, just please understand that none of us are experts, and I talk way too much, and I really just wanted everybody to...
Listening to the comments and reviews that people leave, no one gives a shit what I think.
Well,
Casey.
We just want to make
and
sure
I'm
that...
okay with it.
I want to make sure none of the big tech companies are actually have any luck hiding Tulsi from you. You might turn out to actually like her. That's kind of what this is about.
Yeah, do your research.
But do your research on all the candidates. Figure out who you like. But at least understand, like believe in something, do something, and we'll move forward from there.
So on the Tom Hanks thing, which probably a good ender topic for the episode, but I watched the preview, and I love Tom Hanks, American Treasure, so please don't destroy me for what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
But while I was watching it, and he was doing a great job because he's Tom Hanks, I was struck by this idea like modern De Niro, and I would argue modern Denzel Washington, even though no one really wants to say that. He's starting to just play himself and dress up as opposed to other people. But to be fair, that was most of what I saw, but there were elements of him being a different person in the preview that came through. It does look very good. And despite me obviously having a chip on my shoulder watching it, which I didn't do on purpose, but I've just said this, there's no way.
What kind of chip?
Not the Cool Ranch kind. But
fucking ketchup chips from Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing that struck me was, despite the fact that I had, a Cheeto on my shoulder about the whole thing, when those kids start singing to him at the end, I almost cried watching it. My body just erupted in goosebumps, and I was at work.
Let's not forget, there's already a phenomenal Mr. Rogers documentary that came out just like a year ago.
Mm-hmm. That one's called Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah, and
right? I got the title of this one wrong.
It's stellar. So if you're interested in the new one at all, go back and by all means,
documentary first.
Go see the documentary.
And could it be that whenever you see him playing Mr. Rogers and you think it's just him playing dress up, that maybe just Tom Hanks and Mr. Rogers are very similar?
I was thinking that, yeah.
Because he's just a really good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously got acting chops. So we'll see.
And I think if a Mr. Rogers like TV show could exist now, which I don't think it would make it.
It wouldn't.
I think Tom Hanks would be a perfect choice for a show like that, to just talk to people about it's okay to be afraid and talk about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted everybody to know that they were significant, and it was very, very psychologically beneficial and healthy. It's just like he again kind of like time sort of moved past it. It's a real compelling story, but it's really compassionate, and I think it's going to be worth checking out.
On the subject of movies, because none of you talked about this, and this played when we went to go see Midsummer, Libby and I. Did you see the preview for the Anton Yelchin documentary?
No. Yes.
Okay.
You guys missed it. You showed up late.
That one, we're gonna go see it, and that fucked me up real bad because I didn't know.
Give me some background. Give me some. I don't even know who this person is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He was an actor. He played the Russian kid in the new Star Trek movies. He played in The Green Room. He's really big, up and coming. He's been an actor since a child. Fright Night remake. Okay. But he died suddenly when he parked his Jeep at his house in the brake. Well, incorrectly. Like no, he parked it, but the brakes failed. And so he went to go pick up the newspaper down by the gate of his house, and the brakes on his Jeep failed and crushed him against the gate and killed him. And it was like he was going to be like a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
But it's this documentary about him, and Libby was just snot crying. I looked over it a couple times. Well, and it's like a 2-minute long preview, and I think she started as soon as she realized what it was, because I looked over at her like 3 or 4 times, and it was just getting worse. So,
and what's it called again?
I can't remember.
What's the guy's name?
Anton Yelchin.
Anton Yelchin.
Spelled phonetically.
Got it.
The title's pretty touching too, because it was like, I think it ended with his grandma, I think it was, or his mom. But she, like, he would send her notes and like letters and stuff from set and while he was doing things, and it was to you, whatever her like pet name was to him, was the title of it.
Wow. Okay. We'll definitely keep an eye out for it. This is the first time hearing about it. I didn't see the preview, so
obviously that's real heavy and sad. And I had no point, sorry listeners, about bringing it up. I just, it shocked me that we didn't talk about it.
There's another trailer during that, before Midsummer started. It looked like some weird snake church horror movie.
Oh, yes.
With Jim Gaffigan in it.
Yes.
That looked good.
Well, guys, thanks for listening to us, for me mostly rant about Tulsi, but also the election, also corruption and conspiracy and all the things that come to get us at night. We hope that you guys will. And let it, you know what? Again, in the spirit of fairness, if there's a candidate you like, if you think Tulsi sucks and there's somebody better, like a comment. Comment. Let us know. We'll do our research. We'll do an episode to talk about them. You might even be able to come on the podcast and educate us about them.
I've seen more people want Yang than Tulsi.
Have you really?
On social media.
Well, let's get somebody in here to talk about it.
Everybody wants that free $1,000, and they don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Shit, man. That scares me, but I did listen to him.
I understand it. I would love to get $1,000 for free every month. Yeah. I get it. But where is it coming from?
Where is it coming from?
I see me $1,000 come down on yonder. I don't know where it came from.
Turn off this podcast now.
Where'd that
this
come
is
from?
the worst fucking joke.
Oh my God. $1,000.
I don't know what to do.
$1,000 just on the doorstep. I think some seagull dropped it off or some shit.